My name is Maya. I'm a pelvic floor physiotherapist at Urban Wellness, and this is the Hip Hinge. So the Hip Hinge is a wonderful exercise, but it can be quite challenging. It refers to us moving through our hips. So before we go into it, I just want to make sure that you kind of understand neutral alignment or posture. For me, what that means is that my ribs and my pelvis are right on top of one another. So if I'm standing to the side, I'm not flared out like this, but I'm also not like trying to force a flat back. I kind of have this nice even heel posture from here. Now, for the hip hinge, the goal is that the knees remain over the ankle. So my knees won't translate forward, they won't slide back behind me. They're gonna stay directly over top of me. My ribs and pelvis are gonna remain connected, and I'm gonna almost imagine reaching my hips backwards as I sink into them. So it's almost like I've been karate chopped in the hips, I've sent backwards, but my back has remained relatively flat. Now my knees themselves have not changed position, I've stayed over. To come tall, what I want us to think about is this being a horizontal movement. So my hips, my glute muscles are gonna press me forward. I almost imagine tucking my tailbone under me as I come tall. So to do that a bit faster, I'm gonna reach my hip bones backwards, knees over toes, and then come tall. Sometimes we might use a weight, reach hip bones backwards, come tall. Maybe we might cross our hands, reach hip bones backwards, come tall. A lot of people tend to struggle with making this a hip hinge and not a squat. So when we squat, our knees come forward, we come down. And so something that might help you in the beginning is to have something to block your knees with. I'm gonna use a stool. At home, a chair works really well. So I'm gonna come right up against my stool. And so my goal here is to not knock it forward. So I'm gonna, again, reach backwards. My knees are remaining connected to the stool. And then I'm gonna press forward. But what I'm not doing is I'm not squatting. So I'm really thinking about this coming to my hip. Now, if we wanna think about your pelvic floor here, we can imagine the breathing coordination that we might want. So we might inhale, and as we inhale, we can imagine our sits bones spreading apart as we reach backwards. And then as we exhale, maybe think about like a 30% effort, gentle pelvic floor contraction to push us forward. As you get better at this movement pattern, there's ways to make it harder. If you have any questions or concerns with it, feel free to reach out to me. But this was your Hip Hinge.